It's actually been a pretty good while since I ever did any TP tales. As well as the fact that, honestly, I've been seeing a lot of support from my brothers as of late. And with 4th of July being tomorrow, which I'm really excited for, I can think of no better time to talk about this particular topic, this particular TP story, if you will, on this happiest of Tuesdays. So, with 4th of July, there's going to be parties. And where there's parties, there's going to be food. That's why the TP tale today is actually going to be, believe it or not, on Trinity-Pawling's dining facility when I was there. You guys are probably thinking, well, Nick, it's a dining facility. What's so special about that? Well, that's actually the funny thing. When I was at Trinity-Pawling, we technically didn't have one. I'll explain. See, I know I did mention that occasionally you'd have dinner with your dorm parents, and if you did sports, on the way back you'd always stop somewhere. Although for the most part, we always stopped at this one McDonald's that's in Connecticut. Honestly, the options really weren't that great. And, if you did do sports, they gave you those frozen turkey sandwiches with, cheese on it. So I didn't really eat that stuff. I didn't really care for it at the time. I mean, I like it okay now, but at the time, no. So, you're probably thinking, well, what'd you do for the rest of the time? Well, believe it or not, there was a dining facility, but they tore it down to build a new one. The problem is, the dining facility would have taken more than the entire year to be able to complete, because it was going to access new technology like the geothermal energy, deep below the Earth's crust. It was actually going to be very revolutionary at the time. Well, actually, by most accounts, it actually still is. But they were going to utilize that, but it would have taken over the entire year to be able to do it. So you guys are now thinking, well, okay, if that dining facility was destroyed, where'd you go to eat? Well, in the beginning of the year, we actually had our breakfast, lunch, and dinner at the hockey rink. No, and before anyone says anything, it was not iced. Although that would be cool both literally and figuratively. But no. We had all our sit-down dinners, breakfast, lunch, all that stuff in the hockey rink. For the beginning of the year. Eventually, when the winter sports do come, the hockey team definitely does have to practice. So, we couldn't eat there anymore. So where did we go after that? We ate dinner at a barn. Yeah, a barn that would eventually be used to house, equipment, tractors, stuff like that later on down the line. But this is what it's like now. Then it was our dining facility. And in spite of the fact I've never eaten in the new dining facility before, I have to say, the barn was a pretty quaint, homey area to have any sort of meal in. Yeah. There was that. Although, you guys are probably waiting with bated breath for this part. What did we ever eat for dinner? Well, for the most part, it was always, excuse me, it was always going to be different. I mean, there really wasn't a set menu per se. I mean, there were some things that you could always count on. I mean, there was always actually, before I began what we actually had for dinner, for those who arrived early, including myself, you could actually sneak into the barn, and there was actually a little area for a salad bar, which, for the most part, they put away, except for one thing that they put, over, they put plastic wrap over. And That was actually like a big tub of craisins. So a bunch of us would sneak in and take some craisins. Hey, craisins. Yeah, you know, I'm just going to say right now, there was a time when craisins was in fact life. Craisins are delicious, what can I tell you? Anyway, so in terms of what we had for dinner, again, there really was no set menu or schedule per se. Or even for lunch breakfast, you know, you always have, you know, your eggs, you know, you get sausage, bacon, you know, pancakes, waffles, there's donuts, all the usual breakfast stuff that we all know and love, and by all accounts, some of it isn't really healthy for you. There was even some cereal and a milk dispenser, too. So, yeah, not only would I sometimes get craisins before dinner, I'd also sneak myself a handful of cereal. I would get Fruit Loops. Fruit Loops are awesome. Anyway, so, with that said, of the things we would have for dinner, you know, it would vary. You know, sometimes we'd have a pork dish. Sometimes there'd be chicken. And actually, one of the best dinners that we occasionally would have was chicken parm. That was awesome. And, you know, you'd have stuff like spaghetti, you know, with marinara sauce. You know, as for, just to name a few things. For side dishes, however, it would vary. I mean, yeah, there would be mashed potatoes. And I did mention that, you know, there'd be, you know, sometimes noodles with, you know, red sauce. But a vast majority of the student population of Trinity-Pawling was of Korean and Chinese and all sorts of Asian descent. So you can bet your behind that a lot of the time our side dish was good old-fashioned plain white rice. I actually really like white rice. It's really good. But of the things you'd get like for lunch, you know, there'd be burgers sometimes, there'd be hot dogs, sausage, peppers, and onions. Basically, if you were an athlete, stuff you really should avoid, which I did like the plague. But the best thing they ever had for lunch, and I swear this has nothing to do with my full course menu, even though technically it isn't on my full course menu, they were serving the best French onion soup ever when they could. Oh my goodness. That French onion soup was awesome. Like, if I ever went back to Trinity-Pawling, and I definitely do want to go back, and if the dining facility is there, and when I go to the new dining facility, I hope that the French onion soup is there. I am so hoping it's there. But that's for when I go next time. When am I going to go back? I don't know yet. But I'll definitely keep you posted when that time comes. And let's see, I talked about breakfast. I've talked about lunch. I'm almost done talking about dinner. Some things that people would do for lunch mostly and dinner is Frank's Red Hot was a huge thing. And they would take ranch dressing, I believe, and mix those two together, which after many years I have had. It's pretty good. It's not the greatest thing in the world, but I gotta say to my brothers who would have it, you guys know your stuff. Way to go. So, with that said, I have... Oh, wait. There is one other thing that was usually around for dinner, which, unfortunately, I have had used before, but not for its intended purpose, I swear. There would always be steak sauce around. I will admit I have used steak sauce before. I am sorry for using it. I know you're never supposed to use it. Honestly, I just put it on my rice sometimes. I mean, don't get me wrong, I love white rice the way it is, but sometimes you gotta mix it up a little. And sometimes salt and pepper just isn't enough. So that said, I've talked about breakfast. I've talked about lunch. I've talked about dinner. You can bet there was always dessert sometimes. And for dessert, you know, there'd be, you know, some pies. There'd be... Actually, the dessert selection really wasn't that spectacular. I mean, there was, you know, berry pies. There'd be an occasional, you know, cake. But the big joke on campus in terms of dessert was it It was basically a store-bought chocolate cream pie. But because it was store-bought and a lot of people were convinced it was full of preservatives and chemicals, it was dubbed chemical pie. In all fairness, though, chemical pie really didn't taste that bad at all. It actually was pretty good. And it did make for pretty decent dessert. So, yeah. I figure since tomorrow, since being Independence Day, there's going to be a lot of food no matter where you go. I figure I would do some sort of food-related video today. And, again, I haven't taught Trinity-Pawling in a good while, so I figure I'll do that. I figure I'd do that as well. So, yeah. Funny enough, though, I actually have been inside the new dining facility. I was in there for a few minutes during my 5-year reunion. I mean, it was completely barren and empty, and there really wasn't much going on. To be honest, I forget if I took anything. You know what I did? I think I took like a handful of like corn pops, or I took a handful of something. I forget what it was. Some kind of cereal. But I have been inside the new dining facility, and it does look very nice. I'll definitely show that off when I get an opportunity to do it. Good Lord, though. If I ever did do a video of Trinity-Pawling, it would definitely be a long one. But I don't think I would necessarily mind. I honestly think it'd be kind of fun. Just like making these, but then again, doing these videos has been fun from the very beginning. With that being said, please like, favorite, share, and hit that subscribe button. I can use the support. I'm humbled that I made this video for all of you guys to watch and enjoy today. I'm hopeful you all have a wonderful day today. And remember, if any of you guys ever want to talk or chat, I'll always be here to lend an ear, and I'll always have your back. So take care, and have a happy day before Independence Day.